Welcome to episode 2 of the Elite Sports Podcast. I'm Michael McKenzie, your host, joined by Tyler Weiss, Andrew DeAngelis, Hunter McCoskey, the bandwagon, and Nick Matro. How is everybody doing today? Matro.
Hey, I'm doing good.
Nice.
I'm good. I hate you, Hunter.
I think
you all know how I
I
feel.
think Nick and I are on a similar level of depression right now. So
I'm like happy. I'd like to join that.
yeah, you're high. Dude,
because your
not depressed at all,
bandwagon
Hunter.
team
You're a
lost.
bandwagon. You don't care about the Seahawks. You only care about the
I
Bills
do
because you're a
care about the
bandwagon.
He's a bandwagon.
I
All
actually
right,
did.
today
tear-
we're
I
gonna
did-
if we can get
I
control
did
of it.
tear up.
Yeah.
Shut
Today we're going to be
up,
talking.
Hunter.
Today we're going to be talking about the college football playoff, college football national championship. Not getting in too much into that. Just about a little draft prospect. So we had Devontae Smith. I mean, he showed up and showed out. We're going to be talking about we're recapping the NFL wildcard weekend. We're not recapping the Steelers game for obvious reasons, and we will be previewing the divisional round of the NFL playoffs. So let's get started. College football playoff. Ohio State facing Alabama. Alabama, they were just on a different level all year. That offense, maybe the best in college football history, best team Alabama's seen in their school history, best team under Nick Saban. Nick Saban probably solidified himself as the GOAT of all coaches, and maybe the GOAT at the college level at least, and maybe the GOAT of all coaches to ever coach a game of football. I mean, Tyler, thoughts on the college football playoff?
I just gotta say this. 2 words: Devontae Smith. The dude, he won the Heisman Trophy for the obvious reasons. And in the first half, he had 12 receptions for 215 yards and 3 touchdowns. Like, that's stuff you see from a receiver in a season, and he did that in 1 half. And if we look at, there was Ohio State, I gotta say they played to the best of their abilities. Against Clemson, everyone was just chanting, "You don't belong there," and the whole message was, "You don't belong in these playoffs," and they quickly just blew out Clemson. And Alabama was just on a different level of play, so you really can't blame Ohio State. And Justin Fields, who many people have said he would be, they question his ability at the NFL level. He has done better than what they thought he would in the college football playoff, and they lost Trey Sermon in the college football championship game, and he was just absolutely on a tear. But Master Teague looked pretty solid. So all in all, I'd say this is a pretty good future for the Ohio State team, and we can't really fault them at all.
Yeah, I mean, when you lose Tyreek Smith and Tommy Togiai, 2 guys that got pressure on Lawrence all night long on the semifinal, Jones just stood in the pocket and just threw it to Devontae Smith every single time. And then, Sermon went out. I think that he would have gotten a solid 25, 30 carries for maybe over 150 yards. I thought there were a lot of runs that Teague made that Sermon probably could have done better. 5-yard runs for Teague that could have turned into 20 or 30 for Sermon, the way he runs and his style of play. But, the game plan didn't really change. They continued to feed their running backs and it didn't work in the end. But Andrew, you're a fellow Ohio State fan. What did you see from your Buckeyes and the Tide on Monday night?
On defense, I honestly thought we were pretty disappointing because I've seen our defense to the best of their ability. Obviously, without Smith and Togiai, we're missing 2 of our key players in the D-line. But the secondary, I think all season has looked terrible. And I think that it was really exposed by Devontae Smith, especially in the first half. Jalen Waddle, I don't think he should have been playing at all. I think that he should have just sat out because he was injured beyond comparison, and he wasn't ready to come back. But you know what happened.
It did. Najee went off too, to be honest. He probably solidified himself as the first running back off the board. Hunter, college football playoff.
Yeah, I kind of wish that Blake Cobbeel played. I feel bad for him. That was his senior year, and he had COVID, so he wasn't able to play. But one of my favorite kickers, obviously, in college football, but unfortunate for Ohio State that they weren't able to win the championship. Alabama was just clearly the better team, and you can't really stop Devontae. If they couldn't stop Devontae Smith, they weren't winning. But you gotta give Alabama. This is probably one of the best Alabama teams I've ever seen before watching college football. And Ohio State. People said that they would get destroyed by Clemson. They proved a lot of people wrong. They definitely proved me wrong because I literally said Clemson would win, and I didn't think they were going to make it. But I give props to them because they did have a great season, even though they only played 8 games the whole entire year. But besides that, Fields looks good, and hopefully Sermon comes back, though. Hopefully that injury isn't too serious or anything like that. But you got to give Ohio State credit, though, for having an amazing year, though.
Yeah, I think Sermon did enough to improve his draft stock to being picked in the first 3 rounds. Nick, you're a Penn State fan, so your opinion's not really valid, but go ahead and give it.
I'm waiting to send someone Penn State fan. How about them Buckeyes? No.
I mean, they handed it to your Nittany Lions pretty good.
We had no one, but I mean, even though Ohio State's secondary didn't really want to play that night, they still earned their way into the finals. Everybody thought they'd lose to Clemson. Everybody thinks Trevor Lawrence is going to win the college football championship, but they didn't. They pressured him. They kept them in check. They perfectly executed that match against Clemson. They threw the ball well. They handed it off well. I don't think. Yes, Sermon is a good running back, a lot better than Master Teague, but I don't think he would have changed the game by that much by how well Alabama was playing. But he would have changed it a little, but not that much. And Devontae Smith, no one can stop him. That dude is as skinny as like a rod. No one's gonna even stop that man.
Slim Reaper. So I mean, I think we can agree that Devontae Smith solidified himself as a first receiver on the board. He's probably going number 3 to the Dolphins.
I don't care what anybody says. He's going before Jamar Chase. He deserves to.
Yeah, 100%.
Yeah,
I mean, go ahead.
Speaking of the draft, I just want to point out that today, Mac Jones, Jalen Waddle, Patrick Surtain, and Christian Barmore, who are all Alabama players who will get picked in the first round, just declared for the draft today. And we still await the decisions from Devontae Smith and Najee Harris. So there's a lot of stuff to
I think it's pretty obvious that those 2 are going to declare at some point. I mean, I believe that they're underclassmen, so they'll have until Monday to decide. I think the one that we're all watching, though, is Justin Fields. He's got until Monday. And, I mean, seeing some of the mock drafts after his game against Clemson, I mean, he was climbing back up the boards where he was slipping back into the top 10, top 5 in some. And, I mean, I've seen a lot of mock drafts. I think the only one that has had him taken in the top 10 was an NBC Sports mock draft. You see McShay and Kuiper have him falling to 15 to the New England Patriots. You have a lot of CBS guys have him going 12 to the San Francisco 49ers. And seeing as though if he'd stayed another year, he'd probably be the number 1 overall pick, at the very least, the number 1 quarterback taken off the board. So rapid fire. 2 questions, rapid fire. Do you think Fields will stay, and should Fields stay? We'll start with Ty.
I do think, I don't think Fields should stay, because I think that right now he's solidified his status as a top 5 pick, either to the Atlanta Falcons or to the New York Jets, who both are young teams with surprising potential. And I feel like once they both get good head coaches, he could have a very successful NFL career.
All right, Andrew.
I think that Fields shouldn't stay. I don't think his stock will improve much. If anything, he's already solidified a top the first round. But I think he's the 100% second best QB in this class. I don't think Zach Wilson's on his level. And he finally proved that to people in the college football playoff. I love Zach Wilson, but I don't think he's better than him. And I think that Justin Fields should be a top 5 pick.
All right, Hunter.
I think he shouldn't stay either, but if you know how everyone's been saying he would go outside of the top, that's kind of good for him, because then he would be on a less terrible team, I would say. So that's good for him, and also he might be able to get a starting job too. So if he would go to San Francisco, or you said, or he should definitely start at San Francisco, because if the 49ers are moving on from Jimmy G, then yeah, you could say that there could be a quarterback.
Yeah, I mean, I do think, though, outside of the top 10 and getting number 1 or 2 overall, that's definitely a difference in terms of money in your initial rookie contract, and that's what a lot of people are trying to dissect right now. If he could stay because of the money, the salary factor, I should say, and your rookie contract. Nick, you're a Penn State fan, so I know you're going to say he shouldn't stay, but do you think he will stay?
I don't think he should stay. Looking at the year he had, even though he only got to play 6 or 7 games, I feel like he should head to the draft. He has solidified himself as the number 2 QB in this draft. I do think Zach Wilson is a clear third, but I don't think he's very close to Fields. Now, the issue with Fields is I think he might be a boomer bust quarterback. He's either going to thrive in the NFL or he's not going to be a very good QB. But if I were him, I'd go because he's most likely going to land to the Jets. They have a lot of cap space. They can do whatever they want. Bring in some players. They could bring in someone like Allen Robinson to help them out, which would be a great key factor to help Justin Fields do better in the NFL and compete with Trevor Lawrence, which is probably going to the Jags. But I think he should declare for the draft.
All right, and here I'm gonna say honestly, I know I'm an Ohio State fan, but I'm gonna say he should stay if the grades that all these NFL teams that are picking in the top 15 have on him are similar to the ones that he is being given by all these draft analysts and in all these mock drafts. Because compared to number 12 to number 1, there's a difference, a large difference in how much money he's going to earn in his first few years in the league. And I mean, I think that the top 3 picks have been solidified, in my opinion at least. Lawrence 1 easily. I think the Jets are going to take Penei Sewell at number 2, and then Devontae Smith number 3 to the Miami Dolphins. Now,
Power
what the
move.
Falcons do, what the Falcons do, that's up in the air. A lot of people have had them taking Zach Wilson and then no other quarterback going in the top 10, but we'll see if the draft grades are similar to what they are in the eyes of these draft analysts. I think he should stay. If they are solidified top 10, solidified top 5 even, then yeah, I do think he should declare. We're going to move on from college football and go to the wild card weekend recap. We'll start with Hunter and we'll go with his Buffalo Bills. I mean, they gave you a hard, they almost ended up blowing that game to the Colts. Hunter, what are your thoughts on how your Bills did and how they stack up against the Ravens going into the divisional round?
Oh, that was a very nerve-wracking game. I was at work watching it. I watched the whole game at work, and it was very nerve-wracking because the Colts do scare me because they can either be really good or really bad, and you don't know what Philip Rivers you're going to get. And obviously we saw the good Philip Rivers that day, so it was a very close game, and Jonathan Taylor proved that he is an elite running back because he is so good at breaking tackles and making moves to get first downs and yards, and obviously the Bills don't have like the best rush defense, but they still put up a fight against a top 10 running back in the league in my opinion. But going into and thankfully the Hail Mary wasn't successful because I don't want another Hail Mary again because that was tough. But obviously it was a great win. I think that was the best game in the whole entire wildcard weekend because it was super close and super entertaining to watch, and it was a great start to like the whole weekend. But going into this game against the Ravens, Lamar, we just have to stop the run. If we can stop the pass because Lamar's not a great thrower, but he is a great rusher, and also I think it's supposed to snow that game too, so that might affect the pass game but it might make the run game better. But I think going into this game can be very high scoring, and I think the team that just makes like a few defensive stops is still going to be the winner. But I don't know how it's going to play out, but hopefully Buffalo wins and they make the AFC Championship game. But overall, I think it's going to be a great game between the two.
Any other thoughts anybody has on the game?
I do.
All right.
There's a few things. Number 1, the Bills did win. It was a good win. They played a good game against the Colts. Number 2, there is an issue though. The Bills are a very good team, very stout on offense. They can do whatever they please on offense. Allen, Diggs, a very good combination. Apart from their weak running game, but the Colts did do one thing good, and that was they exposed the Bills' weakness, which is their run defense. They have an absolutely awful run defense. They've given almost 28, 27 touchdowns up in the air to running backs. And Jonathan Taylor had some great runs. Naeem Hines, great runs, which is, I think the Bills are going to win next week. But just looking at like the running game of the Ravens, the best one in the league, J.K. Dobbins is emerging as a good runner. Lamar Jackson, he's a running back, and he loves to run, which I think he could gash that Bills running defense for some pretty good points in this next upcoming game. But overall, a great game by the Bills.
Anybody else?
I think that this game was pretty interesting, to be honest. I thought it was probably the most competitive game of the wild card round. People were sleeping on the Colts. They came out and showed out, but they just couldn't get it done in the end. But the Bills, they need to work on some things going into this week if they want to win, because the Ravens exposed the Titans, and I think a lot of people are also sleeping on the Ravens. So I think this is going to be a very good divisional matchup.
All right, Ty, you have anything to say?
Yeah, I do. So as a Chargers fan, I am a longtime Phillip Rivers fan. So I was picking the Bills. Well, I wasn't necessarily picking the Bills. I was cheering for the Bills to win this game. So
You mean the Colts?
Oh yeah, I mean the Colts. My bad. So I just was really emotional seeing how this could be Phillip Rivers' last game, and it was just really touching to my heart. But at the same time, I really love watching the Bills, and I have been watching the Bills all year, and they're my Super Bowl pick this year. So I was just kind of torn between which side to choose. But overall, I thought it was a really fun and competitive game, and the Bills' offense looks very unstoppable against a really good Colts defense. So I'm really excited to see what's to come between this Bills and Ravens matchup this upcoming week.
All right, so we're going to move on to the next game, the Seahawks versus the Rams. I mean, that's Hunter's bandwagon team right there. We're going to say
Yeah,
that.
what a bandwagon. I hate them.
Man.
I hate bandwagon because they suck.
Jalen Ramsey once again clamping up DK Metcalf. An insane game from Jalen Ramsey. He's had an insane season, and now he's going to get the chance to go up against the best receiver in the NFL in Devontae Adams. Ought to be a fun matchup to watch this weekend. But, I mean, the Rams defense, with the way things shaped out this weekend, I think they have the argument to make that they are the best defense in the National Football League. We'll start with Nick on this one because Hunter's Seahawks lost, so we'll get Nick a chance to trash on the Seahawks here.
Now, at the beginning of the season, in the first half of the season, everybody, and me too, Russell Wilson MVP lock. He does this like every year. Like, he's just so good in the first half of the year. He's so dominant. He wins a lot of games. Something in the Seahawks is off. Every time when that second half of the year rolls around, they go to complete garbage. Like, I don't know what's been going on with them. Russell Wilson in the playoffs of the past few years has been complete garbage. Jared Goff is a bad quarterback, and you let him toast the Seahawks defense. The Seahawks had absolutely no answers. Yes, the Seahawks have literally no O-line whatsoever, so they couldn't give Russell Wilson any help at all. But still, that was a complete pathetic performance by the Seahawks. The Rams, though, put up a really good defensive show. Aaron Donald absolutely killing that O-line. Jalen Ramsey is the best cornerback in the league. He looks amazing. It's an amazing performance by the Rams, and I think they could give the Packers a run for their money.
All right, anybody got anything to add to this game? I'm sure Hunter does.
Yeah, I'll talk. Obviously, it was disappointing, very emotional and heartbreaking loss. But, from that game, I can tell you this right now. The Rams have the best defense in the league, and Jalen Ramsey is the best cornerback in the league. So, he's just been unbelievable. Jalen Ramsey just locked up DK Metcalf every single game they played 3 games, and he held them under probably 50 yards every game he played against him. It's just like you can't. And also, you got to give it to Wilson because he's trying to do all we can with this offensive line, and he just can't do anything with that. And, it's disappointing because, obviously we lost to Jared Goff and a broken thumb, but, you got to love him for when your division lose first rounds. It's disappointing, but, obviously you got to bounce back next year and hopefully Seattle can, win the division again and hopefully win the playoff game next year and even try to win a Super Bowl. But it was a good year, though, for them. I know Russell Wilson looked like crap at the end of the year, but I'm just hoping he bounces back next year and has an MVP year, hopefully. But, obviously it's sad, though. I had a few tears, but, I still had the Bills. So.
All right. Brian Schottenheimer got fired, and we've actually heard that I've seen a couple of places that have him as one of the better fits to go to the Steelers as their offensive coordinator. This one's going to make Ty angry, but I kind of want Pep Hamilton to run the offense over here in Pittsburgh. We're going to take him off your hands there, Ty. Pep
Yeah, baby.
To the Berg to run a great offense in the 2021 NFL season, and Ben's going to get one final shot to win a Super Bowl. Anybody else got anything to add about the Seahawks game losing to the Rams?
I do.
All right. Ty, you go first.
Okay. So, like you mentioned, Schottenheimer got fired, and that was probably the least surprising thing that happened after that game. I mean, he pretty much all year never took risks, and I got to say, I wouldn't be surprised if Pete Carroll's next up on the coaching hot seat. I mean, He in the entire game, like he just played cover 2 pretty much all game, and they knew it wasn't working, yet they kept doing it. And because of it, they lost to a broken thumb Jared Goff, who honestly is not a good quarterback. I don't know how many times I have to say. And I mean, Russell Wilson, for a veteran, he fell apart towards the end of the season. And at the beginning of the year, it was just, oh, he's going to win MVP and all this stuff. And then he just started to fall apart, and he just wasn't going through his reads well. And for a quarterback that's as mobile as he was, he just had a really hard time knowing when to run or throw the ball away. So I got to say, I mean, it's not really looking great for the Seahawks offense, and their defense is just absolutely horrendous. But I got to say that Rams defense was just too much for them and is easily the best defense in the NFL. And Aaron Donald is the best defensive player in the NFL. Prove me wrong.
Nobody's going to prove you wrong on that one, although TJ Watt is winning the Defensive Player of the Year. It's not best defensive player, it's Defensive Player of the Year. I'll just say that right now. Andrew, quickly, what do you got going on? Seahawks, Rams, takeaways.
First things first. We just got to mention, if you guys are going to take Pep Hamilton, the Chargers got a spot to fill. And, I think that should be Jason Garrett.
100%.
Yeah, hire Garrett.
No.
Look at the wonders
Hire
he did with the
Garrett.
Giants offense, man.
Hire Garrett.
Take Garrett from us, please.
Yeah, let's give Tyler a seizure. Hire Garrett. Let's go.
But about the Rams game, it just proved that the statement defense wins championships. Stay strong.
No, it doesn't. That got quickly disproven a day later.
Don't say anything about it, Mike. I don't want to talk about it yet.
I think that the Rams defense was the reason why they won that game. Jared Goff played awful. Cam Akers was actually surprising in that game for a rookie. But Russell Wilson, that Seahawks O-line, got completely exposed. But I don't know how good of a shot the Rams have against the Packers. They haven't really been stopped much this year, other than the Buccaneers game, where they were just shown out. But it's going to be a good game for sure.
All right, so that wraps up our takeaways from Seahawks Rams. We're going to take a quick break here. When we come back, quick takeaways in the Washington-Tampa Bay game, because the only takeaways really are about, Taylor Heineke and the amazing performance he put together on such short notice. And then we'll move on to Ravens-Titans. Those are going to be some in-depth takeaways. And then Bears-Saints, there's nothing to really take away from that game, to be honest with you. And then if we have time, we'll talk about Steelers-Browns. But again, time permitting, because Nick and I are very sensitive about that. And then we'll do divisional round breakdowns and predictions for the upcoming weekend. So stay tuned on the Elite Sports Podcast. Welcome back to the Elite Sports Podcast. We're going to get right into it. Our next game that we're going to be, recapping from Wild Card Weekend, and we said there's not going to be much of a recap. Buccaneers and the Washington Football Team. The Bucs obviously came out with a W, only won by 8 points though, but we're obviously not going to take that away from them because they won a playoff game. But it's Taylor Heineke or Chad Heineke? I always think it's Chad Heineke, but it's Taylor. I don't know why I think it's always Chad Heineke. I don't know
Best
why
QB in the league.
But he is the best QB in the league. I mean, he really showed out and made a name for himself on Saturday night. We're going to start with Andrew. What did you see out of Taylor Heineke? Do you think he can be a starting quarterback in the NFL?
There's the question that if he's a one-game wonder, or just like something like that in like the Nick Foles type of sense. I think that he'll definitely be a competitor in the QB room next year. If Alex Smith does not come back, I think that he has a very high chance to be the starter. I also think if Alex Smith does not come back, they might bring in a rookie. So the question comes up if he will be the starter, if Alex Smith will leave. I think the football team played better than everyone expected. But I think that the Bucs handled them pretty easily.
All right. Anybody else have anything to say about the game or Taylor Heineke?
Mm-hmm. Yes. I think the football team should give Taylor Heineke a chance at starting QB. That kid went out there and performed like it was a show. Didn't he have 3 touchdowns?
He had 2.
He had 2 touchdowns. He can scramble. He's a good thrower. He went toe-to-toe with Tom Brady and gave him trouble. I think Washington should give him a chance starting QB this year. And that's not saying because I want the Steelers to just draft the QB. But that kid, he has potential. He has a lot of potential. I think it should give him at least maybe like a year or something. Because Alex Smith, I think he's going to retire. His leg can't take it anymore. And Taylor Heineke is a great substitute, and I think they could get him. He could get a decent amount of wins this season if they start him.
All right, Hunter, you had something to say?
I'm gonna say one thing. Taylor Heineke is better than Daniel Jones.
Yeah, he is.
That
100%.
is facts.
Yes. Daniel Jones is one of the worst quarterbacks in the league, and I'm sorry.
Oh, he's trash.
He's
You have anything to say about that, Andrew?
Andrew is internally.
You gonna say anything about that, Andrew?
Wants to kill himself. He wants to say something so bad right now.
Good.
But he knows he can't because Daniel Jones is not good.
He knows that.
No,
I don't really think that Daniel Jones should be the starter for much longer. I think that this is his last year to prove himself because
And he won't.
I'm not sure, but I'm pretty sure he had less than 10 passing touchdowns this year. He played 14 games and played atrociously. I mean, he became one of the biggest memes in the NFL this year, tripping over his own feet. But I don't know what to say about that. I mean, it's all Dave Gettleman. I don't think he should be the GM anymore. I think he has no idea what he's doing. We haven't gotten anywhere the past 5 years. So I hope this is a good turnaround.
I think we can all agree on that. Ty, input on the football team Buccaneers game.
I just got to say this one thing. Taylor Heineke deserves to be the starter for the football team. Like this year, aside from Dak Prescott before he got injured, of course, he played better than any NFC East quarterback ever did. And that's including Danny Pennies and Carson, whose job just went. So, I mean, I got to say, like, he really proved a lot that one playoff game. And a lot of people were expecting that the comeback player of the year, obviously Alex Smith, would be a much bigger difference than Taylor Heineke. But Taylor Heineke probably played even better than Alex Smith would have played. And it was against a good Buccaneers team. And a lot of people were expecting it to be a blowout because it's the NFC East. So I just got to say this. Taylor Heineke, he deserves a chance next season. All right. And I do not think Washington should select a quarterback in the first round.
Yeah, props to Taylor Heineke. What a great performance on Saturday night. Now, Ravens versus Titans. I will start with Ty. I mean, I'll say a little something on it first. You know, the Ravens and Lamar Jackson, they finally got that playoff win. So great to see Lamar Jackson play phenomenal on defense and stopping the best running back in the league. Props to Lamar Jackson on doing that. Just going to say that. But, you know, in all honesty, he did enough to get the win. But the passing, it didn't seem like it was there. The rushing was, but seemed the passing was a little iffy. So we'll see if he can do similar things that he did against Tennessee, against a team that can defend the pass, as well as the Buffalo Bills did. They had guys like Micah Hyde and Tre'Davious White step up in a big way late in that Colts game. But yeah, Ty, thoughts on Ravens versus Titans?
I just want to say this. 3 days ahead of the Ravens-Titans game, I said the Ravens would win 20-13. And what happened was they won 20-13. That still shocks me to this day, but
anyway. Aren't you cool, Tyler?
Yeah, but anyways, I just gotta say, we saw a good Lamar Jackson, and I mean, he's faced a lot of criticism for his recent playoff performances and being 0-2, but I feel like a lot of those Lamar haters got silenced after today. Well, after not after today, but after Sunday, I think it was. But, like, I feel as if, you know, they did a good job shutting down Derrick Henry and getting pressure on Ryan Tannehill. Obviously, at the end of the game, what I felt it was disrespectful to dance on that logo because, I mean, that's just a bum move, honestly. It's more of a Steelers move. But I just got to say, yeah, I felt like the Ravens.
What'd you just say?
Yeah, it's a Steelers move to dance on logos, and that's what the Ravens did.
All right. Corvette.
Shut up. All right, Andrew, I know you're a Lamar D rider, so go ahead.
I'm not a Lamar D rider.
Show him the jersey. Show him the jersey.
Oh, the jersey.
Get out the jersey. Go get the jersey, bandwagon boy.
Okay.
Go get it.
I also want to bring up the first thing that y'all were calling Danny Pennies. Let's just say you're saying the football team's better than the Giants. 4-0 against the football team in his career. Has not lost a game to them. So let's
no. He's 2-0 against the Redskins. 2-0 against the football team. Two completely different
My-
teams.
my-
Stop being such a racist, Andrew.
Okay, if
Okay,
Taylor Heineke,
get back.
if Taylor Heineke played against the Giants, they would win. The football team would win both of those games.
Mm-hmm.
Whatever. But getting back to the Ravens game, me and Tyler both predicted that the Ravens were going to win that game, and I think they played excellent. I think they actually do have a real chance to beat the Bills. They've proven that they actually are a real team this year, and they're here to win. Lamar proved that nobody can stop him on the run, and I think that's going to be the biggest downfall for the Bills if the Ravens can pick up a win.
Pittsburgh Steelers have something to say about stopping Lamar on the run. But anybody else got thoughts on Ravens Titans?
Yeah, I'll say
Looks like Hunter.
Yeah, it was a pretty boring game, especially because it was on ESPN and those boring announcers. But besides the point, Henry couldn't get past anything. His line just couldn't stop any of the defensive line because he couldn't even get. I think his longest run was probably 5 yards at most, and he was getting. I think he had 20 carries for 40 yards. I think I'm pretty sure if I saw that correctly, but. Besides the point, Tannehill did not look good. The Titans defense didn't look good. It was a close game. It was only a 7-point game, but besides the point, Lamar looked all right. Throwing, no, he didn't look that good, but rushing, yes. But really, just the Ravens need to do. If they throw the ball against the Bills, I'm telling you this right now, they're not going to win. So.
All right, Nick, you're the only one who hasn't spoken on this.
I thought the Titans would win. I thought they'd show up. I thought they'd play like they did last year, but they didn't. Derrick Henry could not get started at all. I don't know what was going on with him. Vrabel was yelling him on the sideline. Something was up with him. He couldn't get started. If he was able to run for another 100 yards, I think they would have won. But no, Derrick Henry could not get it going. Ryan Tannehill, he was good in the air, except for after halftime. But the key, again, when I said last week, the key factors were going to be Derrick Henry and Lamar Jackson. If one of them showed up and the other didn't, the other team would win. That was right. Lamar Jackson showed up. Derrick Henry didn't. The Ravens won.
All right. Do we even need to talk about Bears Saints? Because that was just.
Can I say
At least,
Talk about the Nickelodeon broadcast.
yeah. I want to say
No, Mitch Trubisky got the Nickelodeon Award, so that means he's technically better than Deshaun Watson and Patrick Mahomes.
MVP. Do either of them have an MVP award?
Yeah, do any of them have Nickelodeon MVP? Yeah, I don't think so.
Nope. He's got the best
All right,
one.
what I think we should talk about, though, it doesn't really have to do with the playoff game in general, but do you guys think that Mitchell Trubisky will be the starter next year in Chicago?
No.
Yep.
No.
Yep.
No.
He will. He will.
Mike, you say he
shouldn't?
will.
Yeah, because if the Bears don't
here, I'm
draft the
gonna say
quarterback, the
this. I'm gonna say
Steelers
this.
get a better chance at the quarterback.
The Steelers are not drafting a quarterback in the first round, Nick.
Yeah, I
hate to
know,
break
I
it
know.
to you because
I
Ben's coming back
know.
for another season, so shut the hell up.
Let's go draft Kyle Trask in round
We are
6.
not. Kyle Trask is going in round 1, you idiot.
no,
He's going late
trash.
round 1. But I mean, the Bears. I don't think Mitch should be the starting quarterback, but I think that the Bears will keep him for another year as starting quarterback. I'll say that. But anybody input Bears Saints game futures?
I'm just gonna say this is gonna be the last Saints playoff run we see in a while. So, with their cap space issues, so and this would probably be Breeze's last playoff appearance ever. So, luckily we're seeing this now, then never again. So, but I'm excited to see Bucks versus Saints is round 3 versus them, and two older guys, and it's gonna be a great game. All right, let's move on to the next game.
All right, shut the hell up, Hunter. Nick, I'm guessing you don't want to talk about this game in the slightest. So
I do.
You do. All right, go ahead and take it because I don't think I have the patience to talk about this game ever.
Oh,
Go ahead.
this is gonna be fun.
Let it rip.
How about them Steelers? We sucked for most of the Browns. We were 28 points in the first quarter. I can't take it anymore.
Oh my god.
I think that might be it from Nick, but
All right, I want to.
No, Hunter. I'm taking this because I'm a Steelers fan, and I'm gonna let it rip right now.
All right.
The first play of the damn game, Marquise Pouncey. He's supposed to be rested. He's supposed to be rested, right? You're gonna be perfect. First play of freaking Super Bowl 43, just over the head. Hey, here you go. 7 points. 7 points. Ben trying to throw a check down. How do you overthrow Benny Snell when he's 2 yards in front of you? That just makes no sense at all.
Here we go. It's first on to Super Bowl. Here we go. Cheer the Steelers back another.
There you go. Thank you for being muted. But and then Ben, he overthrows Snell on a freaking check down. He was 2 yards in front of him. And then another interception, 2 interceptions tipped at the line of scrimmage. No, 1 interception tipped at the line of scrimmage, and then one went
awful.
through the butterfingers of Deontay Johnson. Man, that was just the most. I felt like I was in a dream. That did not feel real. It didn't.
I'm gonna
feel
be honest.
real
I cried. I cried.
I did.
I legit cried. I don't care what anybody judged me for. I cried.
I did as well. I mean, I said it. I think somebody commented like, I thought we had this in the bag heading into the week. I'm not gonna lie.
I did too.
Somebody.
But we blew it. If
they win, I commented. I responded. I'd cry.
If that first quarter didn't happen, we didn't go 28-0 down, I think we would have won. But no, we just had to go down 28-0.
The Steelers outscored the Browns 37-20 outside of the first quarter. Just thought I'd put that out there. But hey, the first quarter happened. I mean, I think the Browns scored 31 points off of turnovers. So I don't want anybody blaming our defense for that first half.
No, it wasn't defense at all.
They truly let up about 7 points in that first half, and then our offense in the third quarter gets going. Mike Tomlin, I love the guy, but with all the momentum on 4th and 1 going up against a team that has been historically bad.
Oh, don't even start me.
Punt the ball.
Don't start me.
All I know is at least Randy.
Hey Andrew, what are you doing back there, buddy?
All we know is Randy Fiegner got fired, and Tyler, we're gonna take Pep Hamilton off of you. So
hey.
Get ready for it. We're taking Pep Hamilton.
No,
we're taking Pep Hamilton. We're taking Pep Hamilton.
Yeah,
and Andrew, I don't know why
Tyler.
you're sitting down, relaxed, and smiling, because your team is still not going to the playoffs for another 10 years minimum. So
What?
Minimum.
10
I thought
years.
you guys were in
Minimum.
cap. Where do you stand in cap space? Answer me that.
Steelers.
We're a bit we're a little bit above the cap limit, but it's not that big of a deal.
Yeah,
At least we
a
are the
lot of
Saints.
guys-
Let's just say
A
that.
lot of guys are leaving. I mean, Al's leaving. Vance is leaving. A lot of guys are going to have to walk. Bud Dupree.
Al needed to leave.
Huh?
Al was gonna leave anyways. He's washed.
Yeah, he's
You could tell on every play there would be someone that rushes right past him and gets to Ben.
I think at this point you got to start looking at how can we get an offensive line that can run block, and can you get a freaking running back? But yeah, we're gonna take Pep Hamilton off your hands to be the offensive coordinator, Ty, and Andrew, just sit back and watch while the Steelers actually compete for a competitive division title.
Can I talk about this game?
Yeah, Hunter, go ahead and talk about this game.
You know, surprisingly, I thought the Steelers were going to kill the Browns, but I was
We all
wrong. So I was watching that first quarter. I don't know how shocked I was, but like when I saw Ben throw 3 interceptions in the first half, I was like, whoa, like I've never seen Ben like this in the playoffs ever, and especially against a team that hasn't made the playoffs in 18 years.
Andrew, you look like you want to go right now.
He does.
But besides the fact, the Browns were just the better team that night, and obviously they played.
Keyword that night.
Yeah,
Any other
but
night,
you only
Steelers
get
are
one
a better
chance.
team.
You only get one chance. It's not like hockey, baseball, or basketball where if you lose one game, it doesn't mean like the end of anything. But for football, yes. And unfortunately, the Browns just played better that night, and they deserved that win. And now they're going to Kansas City playing to go to the AFC Championship game. So you got to give them a lot.
All right, let's go to the next topic.
Hold
Shall
on. I'd like to say something.
we? Oh God.
I'm not gonna go off on any Steelers slander, but it's again about the quarterback situation. Big Ben, does he come back once again for another year?
He's coming back. We all know he's coming
Sadly,
back.
yes.
Tomlin said he's coming back, and at this point, I really hope they restructure his contract, because I think
That's the only thing we can do.
I'm sorry. If we restructure his contract, you're gonna hate to hear this, Nick. He deserves one more year. He deserves
Say
one
again?
year. He deserves a final year. If we can restructure his contract, Ben deserves a final year.
Yeah, if they can, he doesn't. But they need to restructure his contract 100%.
Yeah. And I mean, here's one thing I'm looking out, not just in the draft, but if the Jets take Justin Fields, I hope they do. I hope they don't actually, because that would mean Fields probably falls out of the top 10 and then he stays. But if Fields declares for the draft, I hope he goes to the Jets, because then Sam Darnold's out and we can take him and develop him under Ben. Because Sam Darnold is better than Daniel Jones.
He is 100%.
Hey, I just want to say something real quick. So regarding that Steelers game, I'm gonna take it back to. I'm gonna see if Nick and Mike remember this game. Steelers versus Jaguars in.
Stop! No, no.
Andrew, what happened week one? Andrew, what happened?
All right, we're on to the next topic. Let's go to our next topic.
Don't. I mean, I'm gonna be honest. This was me the entire first quarter.
My dad screamed at me because I whipped my terrible towel across the room and almost broke a vase.
Wait. Can we just acknowledge this? That on TikTok, Mike kept telling all these Browns fans, you guys are going to get destroyed. And they...
Hunter,
please shut up.
We go to the next topic, please.
I know the Seahawks fan who...
The Steelers lost to Blake Bortles.
I was a little Seahawks, but...
Oh, wait. They lost to Blake Bortles. Didn't the Bills lose to Blake Bortles that game before?
Okay. The Bills gave up 10 points to Blake Bortles. You know how many points you gave up to Blake Bortles?
And how many points did the Bills score that game? Do I remember? Three?
You have to say, you guys gave up 45. We gave up only 10.
And we scored 42 on a terrific Jags defense.
Okay,
so I don't get what you're trying to say here, but
the last 5 minutes were all garbage time points anyway. So
shut up!
Garbage time points.
Garbage time points. They scored 7 garbage time points. That's so many, isn't it? So many. So many.
All right, well, anyway, let's
4 yards short of a playoff record.
Oh, so now he wants to move on. Oh, all right.
Yeah, we'll move on. We'll move on now.
Yeah, we'll move on now.
All right, let's move on.
Bandwagon.
Wait,
all right.
I'm gonna say this. Ben Roethlisberger isn't the best rookie quarterback of all time. Justin Herbert is.
What?
No.
I've seen a lot of people say Ben Roethlisberger is the best rookie quarterback of all time because he went 13-0.
It's obviously Tua. Tua's the best.
Yeah,
Tua. Yeah, he actually is. Not gonna lie.
Tua is 100% the best.
I mean, what other QB can give up a fumble their first time they ever see a snap ball in the NFL?
Second's Ben DiNucci, then Herbert.
Ben DiNucci. All right,
let's move on. Divisional round. We're gonna start in the NFC with Packers, Rams. Hunter, prediction.
This game could be an upset, obviously, because of the Rams' defense. But the only way I see the Rams winning is somehow they get the run game to go, because obviously the Packers don't rush defense. But if they can get Cam Akers going and their defense locks up Aaron Rodgers and Devontae Adams, I could see them potentially winning this game. But do I think that's going to happen? No. But I'm going to take the Packers in this game. It's going to be close, but I still think the Packers are going to win by 10, I would say.
All right, I'm going to say this. I mean, you got Aaron Donald leading a great front seven, Jalen Ramsey against Devontae Adams. Defense wins championships. I think Jalen Ramsey is going to get the best of him in that matchup. We're going to go ahead and move to Tyler.
All right. So my score prediction for this game is the Packers are going to win 34-26. And I'm just going to say I think that the Rams are going to be able to get their good rushing attack going with Cam Akers, who was very good last week against Seattle and is so far on a tear in the playoffs. And if the Packers can get their run game going, which they've struggled with, but I really think that they can get their run game going because the Rams, their defense is great, but their biggest weakness is just stopping the run. And they've got 2 good running backs in Aaron Jones and A.J. Dillon. And obviously you got Aaron Rodgers, the obvious MVP. And there's 2 great wide receiver cornerback matchups on both sides of the ball. We got obviously Devontae Adams against Jalen Ramsey. I think Devontae will win that matchup barely, though. I think Devontae will barely win that matchup. And Jair against Cooper, I think that'll be exciting to watch too. But overall, I think the Packers win closely.
All right, sorry about that, guys. I got interrupted there for a minute, but as I was saying, Aaron Donald leading a great front seven, Jalen Ramsey, I think he's going to get the best of Devontae Adams in that matchup, and a team that put up 30 points. I mean, Cam Akers had 153 total yards last week. I know I picked the Packers to go to the Super Bowl. I'm going to take the Los Angeles Rams in an upset this week. Andrew, what do you got?
I got to say that's bold, but I could definitely see it happening after the way that we all didn't expect them to play this well against the Seahawks, and they completely exposed them. The Packers, sometimes it's just not their week. If that happens this week, coming off their rest, it could honestly be an upset for the Rams. But there's a lot of matchups in this game to be looking out for, especially that D-line of the Rams. Sebastian Joseph Day and Aaron Donald have been tearing it up. And, without David Bakhtiari, it's really going to be a tough game for the Packers offensively. But this is a tough one for me, but I think I'm going to take the Packers in a very close game.
All right, Nick, prediction?
I'll admit to this. Last week, I said the Seahawks would win in a blowout fashion against the Rams because I didn't think the Rams were really good. They weren't initially playing Jared Goff because he still had a broken thumb, and they were playing John Wolford. Now, seeing the beginning of the game, John Wolford had taken out a dirty hit by – I don't know, but he got taken out by a dirty hit. He went to the hospital. They shoved Jared Goff back in. I think this game was over. Turns out the Rams defense said no and decided to literally decimate Seattle's O-line, just kill Russell Wilson. Russell Wilson had a terrible night. Absolutely god-awful. The Rams took advantage of him so much. The pick six, that they made the Seahawks look like they shouldn't even belong in the playoffs. But saying this, the Packers are a bit of a different opponent. The Packers at least have an O-line. The Packers have a bit of a stout defense. The Packers are the best receiver in the league and arguably the MVP of this year. I could see an upset happening, but I don't think it'll happen this time. I think it'll be pretty close, but I think the Packers will edge out the Rams.
All right, that's it for the first game in the NFC. Next game in the NFC, it's the Saints going ahead and hosting the Tampa Bay Buccaneers, round 3 of Breeze versus Brady. Breeze has for sure gotten the best of Brady the first 2 matchups, and a lot of people are saying third time's the charm for the Tampa Bay Buccaneers, and I know that the Bears aren't a great team, a great playoff team to use as a measuring stick to see where the Saints team is at, but I think they're rolling right now. Drew Brees, he's got Michael Thomas back, and that was a huge impact in their wild card game the last week, and I just think that this defense has stepped up in a big way. I think the Saints are going to edge out the Bucs for the 3rd time this season. Hunter.
Yeah, this is a tough one because I just can't see Brady losing 3 times in a row to a quarterback in one season. I just don't see that happening. But I don't want to pick against the Saints. But this is such a tough matchup. I know this game is in New Orleans, obviously the last time they played in New Orleans, it was a much closer game than the one in Tampa Bay. But this is playoff Brady, so I can't go against him. So I'm gonna take the Buccaneers in a shootout in this game. I say high 30s in this game, but it's gonna be a 1-possession game. But I think the Bucs will edge out and go to the NFC Championship game against the Packers.
All right, Tyler, prediction for Saints Bucs.
So ahead of this matchup, a lot of people have been saying, "Oh, no quarterback has been able to beat Tom Brady 3 times in a row in a season." However, I think lately a lot of things have been first for Tom Brady, such as playing in a wild card game, being a wild card team. And that was a first he had last week. So this is the first time he is going to lose 3 times in a row to Drew Brees. And I'd say for game wise, I'd say the Saints would probably win by somewhere around 10 to 13 points because I just think that their defense has really gotten the better of Tom Brady their first 2 matchups and knows how to play against him. So they'll be prepared for him and they'll be able to limit the Bucs offense, which has been pretty high powered this year. And I just feel like that would put the Buccaneers out of the playoffs.
All right, Andrew, Buccaneers Saints predictions.
This game is one that we have all been waiting to see. Once again, Breeze has dominated the regular season against the Buccaneers, but playoff Brady, once again, needs to be brought up. He's honestly a different breed in the playoffs, but this game, I think it's going to really come down to the wire. But I think both teams really need to step it up. They want to get that edge. And I honestly think that the Saints will take this one home. I don't think that Brady is the same player he was maybe 2-3 years ago. And I just think that the Saints defense, in comparison to the Bucs, it will be much better. And I'm taking the Saints by 7.
All right, Saints by 7. Nick, final word on this game.
Before I say, I think the Saints will win. Not many times do you hear Tom Brady gets beat by a quarterback 3 times a year. The Saints have found the way to get to him so easily. I think, knowing Drew Brees, though he doesn't throw very far, the Buccaneers don't have the best pass defense. They have a very good run defense, which needs to show up to put Kamara in check. But again, Kamara, if he gets going, no one's going to stop him. I think the Saints continue this trend, and I think they win.
All right, we're going to move on. Chiefs, Browns next. I'm honestly going to compare this Cleveland Browns team similar to the 2013 Pittsburgh Pirates. I mean, ending a 20-plus year drought of not making the playoffs and then winning your first game against a team that has really had your number in recent history in magical fashion, and then proceeding to lose the next round, maybe making the playoffs the next couple of years, but then the eventual inevitable colossal disaster occurs in a few years. I'm going to take the Kansas City Chiefs to win this game pretty handily. I'll agree with Chase Claypool. The Browns are going to get clapped. Hunter?
So, I don't want to go against Mahomes in the playoffs, but I think the Browns will put up a fight. But it's in Kansas City too. If the Browns do win, they'll prove me wrong again. Like how I said that the Steelers would kill them, but I was wrong about that too. So I'm going to take the Chiefs by 17, but I don't really see the Browns unless the Browns run game goes amazing. Then that's the only way I see the game and get its defensive stops. But Chiefs.
All right. All right, then, Ty.
Here's my bold prediction. I think the Browns will have a 17-point lead, and then they'll blow it to playoff Mahomes, just like teams blew leads to Mahomes last year. And the Chiefs are going to win in a close one by 4.
All right, we're going to move on to Andrew.
This game, I think, will be a very good game. I think that the Browns proved that they belong in the playoffs. But the Chiefs, they were unstoppable last year. That offense has proven to be the best in the league, in my opinion. And I think I'm going to take the Chiefs in this one. The Browns did beat a Steelers team who went 1-5 in their last 6. No disrespect, that's just the facts. But I think the Chiefs will edge this one out by 14.
All right, Nick, you're taking the Chiefs.
To compare the Chiefs to the Steelers is a bit weird. Yes, the Steelers had the whole issue in the first quarter, but comparing Mahomes to Big Ben is like a clear, you take Mahomes. Mahomes is a different quarterback than Big Ben. Mahomes isn't Mr. Checkdown. Mahomes isn't Mr. Short Pass or Slant. Mahomes is the best QB in the league. I don't think they'll make the same mistakes against the Browns like the Steelers did. They're playing at Arrowhead. I'm definitely taking the Chiefs on this one by 10.
All right, we're going to now move on to the final game of the divisional round weekend. It's the Bills and the Ravens. It is going to be it should be a great game in the snow. I think Josh Allen, I've said this, he's going to end up second in MVP voting. I really like where this Bills team is at, especially with their pass defense. I know Lamar did pretty well on the ground against the Tennessee Titans, but I think the Bills do just enough to hold Lamar off. Bills win by 1 possession. Hunter, you're probably taking the Bills.
Yeah, I will take the Bills. But this game can definitely go either way. I don't want to be biased or anything. But if the Ravens win, I won't be surprised. But obviously, I want the Bills to win. But I think it's going to be a very close game, like how I said in the beginning of the podcast. But this game is going to be very good. I think that it's going to be a snow game too, which is awesome on NBC. And I think run heavy for the Ravens, but pass heavy for the Bills. I think it's going to be a shootout, and the team that gets the more defensive stops in the game. And that could be either team. I don't know who, but I'm going to take Bills in this game by 3.
All right, tied Bills Ravens.
I got the Bills winning very close by one possession, like both you said. I got the Bills winning in a close one by like 28-24, something like that. That's just my prediction.
All right, Andrew.
You know, if this game does turn out to be a snow game, the Bills are familiar with that type of weather. I would say the Ravens are not. So I feel like having that home field advantage in the snow gives the Bills an advantage right off the bat. But you know, if it does turn out to be a snow game, in the regular games, Lamar can't pass very well. So I think that the Ravens' offense will become even more run heavy, and that's the Bills' downfall on defense. So this game could really go either way. But I think I'm going to take the Ravens in this one in an upset.
All right, Nick.
This all depends on one thing: the Bills' defense. I think Josh Allen can outdo Lamar. Josh Allen has a top 3 receiver in Stephon Diggs, one of the best route runners in the league, compared to Marquise Brown. Got a case of the Steelers' Butterfingers over there. But, again, all this depends on is the Bills' defense. The Ravens have the best running game in the NFL by far. They have a running QB, a good running back, multiple good running backs, and they have very fast players. The Bills' running D, again, is pretty bad. They've given up around 28 rushing touchdowns in the regular season. If the Ravens can outdo the Bills running the ball, I think they could possibly win. But I think I'm going to have to go to the Bills in this one just because of the combination of Allen to Diggs, Allen to Beasley, Allen just running by himself. I think the Bills win. I think it's going to be close, but I think the Bills just won out and go to the AFC Championship to go against the Chiefs.
All right, I think the only pick all of us disagreed on, I believe, was me picking the Los Angeles Rams. So pretty, you know, everybody's in agreement. That's what I'll say. But Nick probably putting on the Steelers hat and waving that towel for the final time. Whatever. Hopefully we can improve Steelers-wise this offseason. It's going to be very important. And screw you, Dylan, because one, you're not on the podcast, and two, you didn't poach Kevin Colbert from us. So that's right. Suck it. That's going to wrap it up for this episode of the Elite Sports Podcast. Thank you for listening. Again, next week, divisional round recap and a breakdown of the conference championship. Should be a fun weekend of football, so go enjoy it. I'm sure we will. And only one of us have somebody playing, and that's Hunter's Bills, and if they were going against any other team than the Ravens, I'd probably be rooting against Buffalo. But just because they're playing in Baltimore, I will give you 1 week, Hunter. But that's going to wrap it up for today's episode. Thanks for listening. Again, stay tuned for future episodes. We'll upload once every week. And for all the guys here, signing off for now.
Adios, boys.